There's a recent study that has been completed that is recently read a study that was identifying the pedagogical bias of AI and when it comes to lesson planning. And it was pointing out that programs such as Magic School, ChatGPT, and basically any AI that is designed or the process is designed to create lesson plans is heavily biased towards teacher-centered pedagogy or teacher-centered learning, where it's the old expert in the room and they're delivering their knowledge to others. And there's this fundamental issue with that model, and this is what people are pointing out all over LinkedIn, that the idea of a teacher standing in the room and being the domineering presence for the entire lesson is outdated, and it's also not effective pedagogy when it comes to student learning. You can actually talk to a bunch of students, and we actually did a sort of survey, and we had a panel of some of our students. We had 50 teachers and about 10 students, and they were questioned on what do they enjoy in their lessons, what do they hate in their lessons. And it was an unbiased opinion of the students rather than hearing from the teachers of what makes good pedagogy. And what was really interesting about this was the students all said, we hate it when you stand up the front and just talk at us for 70 minutes. We hate the lectures. Can we split it up? Can we do some group work? Can we do some one-on-one stuff? Can we do you tell us a little bit and then we go away and do some activities. They said that when we start just getting talked at, we just switch off. And this is known for a long time, but in education, it's very easy to get pushed back into that trap of you're the expert in the room, you need to know everything, and then you can go and actually deliver the content. But this study is highlighting that even if you're using, say, a ChatGPT version to generate your lessons, you've got to have a look at the bias towards teacher expertise rather than student agency, student voice, critical thinking, the ability to collaborate. And we look at the 4Cs model, which is, creativity, communication, collaboration, and critical thinking. They are the 4 dispositions that we are really needing to drive in education these days, especially with the use of AI coming in more and more frequent. So it's all about human connection rather than the ability to regurgitate facts and regurgitate information. And this is what's been top of mind for a lot of the educators that I've been talking to who are heavily using AI. They are basically saying we are using it to be a learning guide, a partner in our ability to think, but we don't want to switch off our brains from those essential skills. So it's just, I suppose, a call to action in when we're looking at using AI to help with the creative approaches of pedagogy, the creative things for lesson planning and assessment design. We've got to look at what percentage of that lesson or that task is teacher driven, or is it student driven, or have they got autonomy in their actual ability to learn? Now, obviously the pinnacle of learning and control, and if you're in any sort of leadership position, and if you've had a micromanager where somebody is controlling every single step that you do and they're checking in on every single step that you do, and then you technically get in trouble if you're not doing it to the standard that they expect or haven't communicated well enough with you, you understand you can feel pretty demotivated, pretty, I suppose, apathetic to actually doing the task. But once you're given a bit of autonomy, they give you a task and they've shown you how to execute on that task, and then they just let you go and do it. And if you fail, you fail. If you smash it, you smash it. It's fantastic. But when you're given that autonomy and that ability to make your own mistakes, then it makes more sense, and we actually can take ownership of our own learning and our own skills that we're developing. So it comes the same when we're using AI. If you are explicitly directing it to create lessons, it's the old thing of garbage in, garbage out. We don't want to go back to the old method of chalk and talk, the lectures for, 70 minutes of a lesson, because the students are telling us we hate that kind of learning. And that's why YouTube is such a big component of people's self-education, because the people are charismatic, they show, they deliver, and then the person who's actually learning from that person on YouTube can then go and execute in their own way. So that's why you'll see this disconnect between in-person education and online education, and the ability to communicate is wildly different. So just a really quick notice. What do you think? And I'll be curious to hear your thoughts. Remember, effort equals results. I'll see you in the next one.